It won't look exactly like it does for my father, who's 88 years old today and depends on Medicare, but Medicare could be there, but not the way it's going now. We've got to tackle these issues.
You are so right. I mean, we're not going to have to cancel these programs.
No, sir.
We can save these programs. It's just going to require us to confront reality and make some changes in how we do business. I'd just like to say one more thing about this budget before I forget. My Democrat colleagues claim the Budget Control Act was a budget, but it only dealt with discretionary spending, didn't deal with all the other spending. It only set limits on expenditures, and it didn't have any debate on the floor. It was a secret agreement. There was a budget limitation placed on spending as a result of the Republicans insisting that we had to reduce some spending before we would allow the president to raise the debt limit. And that went on to the wee hours of the morning, and they put together a messed up bill, and now we're paying the price for it. But it did cut some spending, and it limited how much spending we could do. But it didn't go through the budget process. It didn't cover all of the government programs, and it doesn't have anything like the indices of a budget. And when an attempt was made, and successfully, to bring up the president's budget for a vote, and the motion was believed to be legitimate because there's no budget, and we were going to have a vote on it. And our Democrat colleagues ran to the parliamentarian to try to argue that this cap on spending that was agreed to last August was a budget, and they picked the parliamentarian. The majority hires the parliamentarian, and courageously and properly, the parliamentarian said, no, it's not a budget. And there's no budget in the United States Senate, and President Obama's budget was brought up and got 0 votes. So I just wanted to share that.
Well, I appreciate the senator sharing this time with me. Mr. President, I guess in a moment Senator Sessions will yield the floor. That we'll go dark, subject to the call of the chair, and vote at midnight to sort of slink out of town. No appropriation bills, no defense bill, no dealing with the sequestration, Meat Act's cuts to defense and other programs. And but we will have gotten away under cover of darkness to face the voters. And in this country, they're the ultimate arbiters. But I just appreciate this opportunity to stand on the floor with a statesman like my friend from Alabama and to thank him for his leadership in the budget issues, and to thank him for coming here and telling the truth to our colleagues and to the American people today.
Well, Senator Wicker, Senator Olympia Snowe, who's not running again, who's frustrated with this body, pointed out yesterday on the floor that we voted in this body a few years ago up until November 1st. Or something. We act like we've got to be out by the middle of September. We're not going to do any work during October, and we'll come back maybe after the election in a lame duck circumstance and see how much junk can be shoved through here without real vote. And isn't it true that we've had plenty of time since September to bring up the defense authorization bill, to bring up a budget, to bring up some of the appropriations bills, at least some of them?
Day after day.
There's not been a problem.
Hour after hour in quorum calls. It's very frustrating.
And
frustrating to the people who sent us here to do a job.
Thank you. I would say one thing, Mr. President. In a recent interview in July on CNBC with Mr. Erskine Bowles, who was President Clinton's chief of staff, appointed by President Obama to head the Debt Commission, this is what he said about the state of our finances. You've heard it said that 40% of what we spend every day, 40% of that is borrowed. It's really $4 billion a day that we borrow. And you probably think that's not true. People probably think that can't be true, that 40 cents of every dollar that we spend, that we put out the door, has to be borrowed from countries around the world and from others who will loan us the money and we pay interest on it. This is what Mr. Bowles said. If you take last year, 100% of our revenue that came into the country, every nickel, every single dollar that came into the country last year was spent on what we call mandatory spending and interest on the debt. Mandatory spending is principally the entitlement programs, Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. What that means is every single dollar we spent last year on these two wars, national defense, homeland security, education, infrastructure, high-value added research, every single dollar was borrowed. And half of it was borrowed from foreign countries. That is crazy, crazy. It's a formula for failure in any organization, close quote. That's the man President Obama chose to head the Debt Commission, a businessman who understands the threat this nation faces. We can get off this path. Congressman Ryan laid out a plan that would get us off this path. We have to get off this path. And as we head out from this Senate to return to our states and visit with our constituents, and as we head into an election, I'd just like to ask, is there one senator on the other side of the aisle who can defend to the good people of this country the decision of this body to withhold a budget, withhold a financial plan from the country? Can you defend that? Can you defend not even attempting to do the fundamental requirement of Congress, which is to appropriate the money to run the government, not even bring up a single bill for the second time in the history of the Republic? And what about the Defense Authorization Bill? Came out of our Armed Services Committee unanimously, being refused to brought up. The leadership has refused to bring it up on the floor. Can you defend that? Really, can you defend failing to deal with the fiscal cliff, the deep defense cuts and huge tax increases that will occur January 1st? Wouldn't the economy be better if that uncertainty had been removed and we'd already been brought those bills up and voted on now? Instead of, you know how they're going to do it. The leadership will meet over here, and it'll be December 23rd. The majority leader said we may be here till December 23rd. And that's when they'll bring it all up. You know, that's when the health care bill was passed. That's when Christmas Eve is when the health care bill was passed. So that's kind of the plan. Bring it up at the end. Everybody will have to vote for it, or the government will shut down, and it'll be a disaster. That's the kind of thing we should be avoiding. I really believe that the complaints that have been made here today are not just political rhetoric, not just talk, but represent a legitimate, honest criticism of the leadership of the Senate, and I think the American people should weigh that as they go to the polls. I thank the chair and would yield the floor.
Clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Akaka.
Mr. President,
Senator from Montana.
are we in a quorum call?
We are.
I ask the quorum call to be eviscerated.
With no objection.
I ask unanimous consent that the Senate recess until 11:30 p.m. today.
Without objection. Senate stands in recess until 11:30 p.m.
The Senate today has been debating a bill to fund the government for 6 months. The House passed the